What's up, guys? Guys, time the prize is back. The prize is here, and the college football playoff bracket is officially here. It's taken care of. We got all the teams in, all 12 teams this year. It's a new format. 12 teams have made it. A lot of controversy surrounding who's going to get that last spot, whether it was SMU or Alabama. SMU got it. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I want to talk about the first game, Clemson versus Texas, next week, December 21st. That is a Thursday, I do believe. And yeah, it's exciting. 12 teams give a chance, give other schools a chance to get into the college football playoff. We always see Bama in there, Georgia, Ohio State, those teams. But now we see SMU in there, which, a lot of controversy surrounding that. We'll get into that a little bit. Indiana, one of the biggest stories, one of the most shocking stories in the Big Ten this year, setting records for football. Yeah, this is college football. They're known for their college basketball program, but college football, the head coach, Kurt Signetti, has done a wonderful job there. So we'll talk about them in a little bit. You got Texas in there, Tennessee, Clemson made it in because they beat SMU in the ACC championship game. So we'll dive into that. But yeah, the college football playoff is here. 12 teams this time around. It's exciting. I can't wait. But yeah, we got to talk about Clemson versus Texas. First matchup, December 21st, as I mentioned, 4 p.m. on TNT. So next week, Arizona State in that same bracket, they get a bye because they beat Iowa State, rather, in the Big 12 championship game, 45-19. So don't sleep on the Sun Devils, man. That's a good squad there. That's a really good football program there. They get the bye in that bracket. But Clemson and Texas, this is a very interesting matchup. Clemson, number 12, number 5, Texas. Texas losing 2 times. They lost in the SEC championship game against Georgia, and then they lost to them again earlier in the regular season. But that's an interesting dynamic there. And then you got Clemson, who won the ACC championship game against SMU. So that was really interesting to witness that. But yeah, we got to talk about both these teams, and now I'll make my pick, obviously, as I always do for college football games or NFL. You guys already know, you've watched the show. So Texas. Let's dive into Texas a little bit. So yeah, they lost, as I mentioned, the SEC championship game in 22-19 in overtime against Georgia. Georgia is also in the, they're on a bye week in another bracket, same bracket as Indiana and Notre Dame. So they're going to enjoy a week off. But they lost to them again. And Clemson, they got a playoff spot despite being ranked 16 at the time. But because obviously they won the ACC championship game, a thrilling matchup between them and SMU. Came down to a last-second field goal. And, they're in the college football playoffs. So Dabo Swinney, find ways to compete in the postseason. And then, they beat SMU. ACC championship game, 34-31. 56-yard field goal from Nolan Hauser. So he was the hero in that one. So Texas, their defense, they got 28 sacks. Their offensive line, rather. They've allowed 28 sacks. So that's not really good. That's tied for 87th in the country. And then the last 2 games versus Georgia, they've had 60 yards rushing on 58 carries. So the running game is not the greatest. So Texas offense, we've seen great moments, but we've also seen some bad moments. And it seems like they're always against Georgia, right? But yeah, allowing 28 sacks, that's not good. Because when you have Clemson, a pretty good defense in terms of taking the ball away. They're tied for 15th in FBS with 15 interceptions. So they're ball hawks, man. That ball's in the air, they're going for it, right? And then they're 14th in opposition completion percentage. So they play ball, Clemson. They have a good defense. By all standards of college football, right? And then you got Texas, they lead yards allowed per play, their defense, rather. So they have a pretty good defense as well. And then they've held 6 opponents this year under 100 yards rushing. So the rush defense is pretty damn good. But yeah, that 28 sacks, that really concerns me in this one for Texas. They've been really inconsistent this year. They find ways to win, as a result. But Clemson, man, they're fighters. They're fighters, and they're going to play this one. They're going to knock some heads. I think that defense does play a role it does make a difference in this game against Texas. They're playing in Texas, and that might help out the Longhorns there. But the Clemson Tigers, man, I think they're on a mission right here. So Clemson versus Texas, who am I going to pick? Both teams are good, obviously. Defenses are pretty good. Texas offense hit or miss. And you got Quinn Ewers in there, and then maybe Arch Manning might play. If God forbid Quinn Ewers gets injured. They're playing at home, but then you got Clemson, 15 interceptions, tied for 13th in FBS. Defense wins championships, right? I'm going to go with the Clemson Tigers. My big upset for this college football playoff bracket. I got Clemson beating the Texas Longhorns in this one. A great way to start off the college football playoff bracket. Very two exciting teams, very two good teams. But I got the Clemson Tigers winning this one. They're going to move on to face Arizona State in the quarterfinals at the Peach Bowl. So you got that game. So now the next game on this list, you got the second bracket. You got Tennessee versus Ohio State. So now Ohio State didn't play in the Big Ten championship game. Obviously, they lost to Michigan again for the fourth straight year. I had to mention that because it's funny. But then Tennessee gets in. Number 9, Tennessee. They had a pretty good season. And then Oregon in that bracket, they're on a bye week as well after winning the Big Ten championship game. Their first season in the Big Ten Conference, they win the Big Ten championship game. It was a thrilling matchup against Penn State. They ended up winning that one 45-37 against the Nittany Lions. That was probably the best championship game this past weekend. But Oregon, first year in the Big Ten, they're Big Ten champs. So you have that going on. But now Ohio State, we got to talk about Ohio State a little bit. Their offense, 35.5 points per game, and they're only allowing about 11 points per game. And then you got Tennessee's offense. They score 37.3 points per game, and then only allowing about 14 points per game. Their defense is. And all these stats that I'm going through, ESPN.com, and then USAtoday.com as well. So Ohio State come into this matchup with Tennessee. They're playing at Ohio State, so helps them out a little bit, right? Playing the Horseshoe, that's a tough place to play. They open up as 7.5-point favorites as of a couple days ago. And that was according to Sports Illustrated, so very surprising there, especially since they lost to Michigan, an unranked Michigan, a 6-5 Michigan team at Columbus, at the Horseshoe, opening up as a huge favorite against Tennessee. So that was kind of shocking when I saw that. And then all time, they're 6-6 against the spread. Ohio State is, and then Tennessee is 7-5 against the spread. So Ohio State, this was another thing I saw on USAtoday.com. They're 2-8. Ohio State is. They're 2-8 and straight up. No point spread, nothing, just straight up in the last 10 games against SEC teams. So obviously Tennessee being an SEC team, that plays in their favor, right? So Tennessee's got to be thinking about that. And let's spoil Ohio State's season. They lost to Michigan. Let's just put salt. Let's put salt on an open wound. Let's make it burn, baby. And right there, 2-8 against. In the last 10 games against SEC teams. Doesn't play well for Ohio State. Especially doesn't play well for Ryan Day. I mean, he's great against the rest of the Big Ten, but he's 1-4 against Michigan. He has a losing record against top 10 teams. So that plays a huge role in this game, and it's favoring Tennessee. So we got that going on. But then Ohio State as well. They're 9-4 against the spread in the last 13 home games. So not too bad, right? They're playing at home, so that helps them out, as I mentioned. But then the Tennessee Volunteers, they're 5-13 against the spread. The last 18 times they were the underdog. So they're the underdog in this game. They have a losing record. Ohio State plays good at home against the spread. Man, so this is going to be a very interesting matchup too. Ohio State at home versus Tennessee. Does Ohio State bounce back, or does Tennessee find a way to win? They play some good football, Tennessee, and they're an SEC team. You can't ignore them. I am going to go with Tennessee because that record, Ohio State 2-8 straight up, in the last 10 games against SEC teams, that worries me for Ohio State. And I know they're still really upset. They're still pissed off about losing to Michigan, an unranked Michigan team, their biggest rival at home a few weeks ago. But Tennessee, man, I just think they have a lot more. They're playing with a huge chip on their shoulder. You're going to Ohio State. That's a hostile crowd. That's a tough place to play. I got the Volunteers in this one. I like Tennessee moving on to the Rose Bowl to face Oregon in the quarterfinals of the college football playoff. So you have that game. Very interesting game. That game's going to be same day, December 21st, next week on 8 p.m. On ABC. So 21st. That's a Saturday. I said, what did I say? Thursday. So yeah, Saturday, December 21st. Both of those games are going to be on 8 p.m. ABC for the Tennessee-Ohio State game. That should be a good one. Play some bets. Watch that one. You'll be entertained for sure. Then now the next game. We get SMU, right? And the SMU Mustangs, they made it, right? And a lot of people were talking about this. Oh, Alabama should be in there. Oh, they're an SEC team. But here's the thing about Bama, right? I mean, I understand that, but here's where I kind of disagree with those people. So Bama's 9-3, right? I mean, you're going to put a 3-loss team in there. A really slippery slope there. And those 3 losses, you lost to Vanderbilt. 40 points scored on by Vanderbilt, right? I mean, these guys don't even belong in the SEC. How the hell did they ever make it to the SEC? Well, I will always question that till the day I die. But, you lose to them, right? And then you lose to Tennessee. That's an SEC rival. You have to win that one. And then you lose on the road, or at home, rather, against Oklahoma. A horrible, crap, god-awful Oklahoma team this year, 24-3. You scored 3 points against a horrible, disgusting, god-awful Oklahoma team this year. And people are saying they deserve to be in the college football playoff. May I remind you, they didn't play in the SEC championship game. Georgia and Texas did. So I don't get why people are upset about that. And yeah, notable wins for Alabama, right? They beat Georgia, who won the SEC championship game. So sure, that makes sense. They're 9-3. They're the SEC champs. Missouri, 9-3. LSU, 8-4. Okay, these are all SEC teams. One of them being the SEC champs. I get that. But then, as I mentioned a couple seconds ago, you didn't compete in the SEC championship game. You weren't there. You didn't make it, right? And then, yeah, here's the biggest debate. SMU, Bama, who deserves that final spot? Strength of schedule. We got to talk about that, right? So Alabama had 17th. They were ranked 17th in strength of schedule. SMU 75th. Okay, fine. I mean, you're comparing apples to oranges when we're talking about strength of schedule. But SMU competed in a championship game. They lost to Clemson. So we're going to punish SMU because they lost on a last-second field goal? I mean, they were up. They were up by 10 points in that game. Clemson came back and won on a last-second field goal. And we're going to just punish SMU because they lost by 3 points in a championship game? I don't know. I don't entirely agree with that. But, hey, Bama fans, you don't need to cry anymore. Let's all be happy because you made it to a bowl game. I mean, I get it's the Aurelia Quest Bowl, on New Year's Eve against Michigan. So, once again, you play Michigan this year. And hopefully Michigan will win that game. I really hope they do. But, they're probably not going to be without Mason Graham, defensive tackle, because he declared for the NFL draft. And then Will Johnson probably won't play either because he officially declared for the NFL draft. So 2 top players for Michigan probably won't be playing this game. So doesn't help out Michigan a whole lot. But Bama, you're competing in a bowl game. Be happy with that, right? It is what it is. So SMU, my opinion, they deserve this spot. You can't punish a team losing a conference championship game, in my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. So SMU, we had to discuss that because that was like the biggest topic last week. Everyone's like, "Oh, SMU doesn't deserve being there. Oh, Bama should be." Yeah, when you lose to a crap Oklahoma team, 24-3 at home, that's not good, dude. That is not good at all. So SMU, Penn State, this one should be an interesting one too. So, yep, next Saturday, 12 p.m. on TNT. Check that one out. Same bracket as Boise State. They won their championship game, the Mountain West championship game, 21-7 against UNLV. Ashton Jeanty is a Heisman Trophy finalist. So that's really interesting. I mean, that guy was just running. He was just putting up crazy numbers this season over there at Boise State. But they get the bye in this bracket because they won their championship game. So, yeah, obviously teams who won championship games get automatic buys automatically. Boise State, Oregon, and then Arizona State, as we mentioned before. So, Penn State squeaked one out. I mean, obviously, like I said, they lost the Big Ten championship game. Can't punish them for that. It was a hell of a matchup there between the Nittany Lions and the Oregon Ducks. Like I said, the best, in my opinion, the best championship game last weekend that was played last weekend. You got Penn State 8th in FBS in scoring defense, 9th in run defense. So pretty good defense for Penn State. That might play well against SMU. SMU has a pretty good offense. We'll get into that in a little bit. But then Oregon, this was something I checked on usatoday.com. Oregon was the only team this season to score more than 30 points against Penn State. So Ohio State, Penn State's only loss despite, except for losing in the Big Ten championship game. In the regular season, Ohio State didn't even score 30 points against Penn State. So the fact that Oregon did that, crazy. But they have a great offense. Their defense, not so much. But we'll get into that later time. But yeah, SMU now, kind of the wild card in this college football playoff. So they're 9-1 when Kevin Jennings is the starting quarterback. So the running game has been great. They've put 238 yards against TCU. They got 204 yards against Duke. Yeah, I get maybe not the best teams in college football, but it says something about their running game. Like, if you can balance that running game, help Kevin Jennings out so you're not throwing it 30, 40, 50 times a game, that's great. But then, as I mentioned, Penn State has a pretty damn good run defense and pretty damn good defense in general, top 10 in defense. So, might be a defensive game. SMU's got to come up with a big game plan to combat that Penn State defense. In the Big Ten Conference, a lot of teams are known for their defense. So SMU's got to really crank it up, and I think they need a hot start. And if they get the ball first, they got to score a touchdown, or it's going to be a long game for the Mustangs. But then SMU as well, 506 carries, that's 17th ranked in FBS, and then they got 29 rushing touchdowns, which is tied for 17th. So they like running the ball, but you got Penn State there with their run defense. This might be a defensive game. So who am I going to pick in this one? You got number 11 SMU. You got number 6 Penn State. Both lost their championship games, so both are due for a win. Who's going to move on to the Fiesta Bowl to face Boise State? I will pick Penn State. I like Penn State in this one. I know James Franklin, top 10 teams. He has a losing record. I get that, but they played really well in that Big Ten championship game. They didn't quit. Every time Oregon scored, Penn State would come back and score. Their defense can only do so much, right? But, that offensive Oregon, one of the best, if not the best in the country. But Penn State bounces back from that Big Ten championship loss against the Oregon Ducks. Defense wins this one. They have one of the best in FBS, in all college football. I will pick the Nittany Lions to beat the SMU Mustangs in this one. So Penn State moving on to face the Boise State Broncos there. And now the last bracket, probably the more interesting bracket here, because you got Indiana. Yeah, this is Indiana football, not Indiana basketball like they're known, right? They're a big basketball school. No, college football, they shocked the world this year. Kurt Signetti signed an extension, 8-year extension, so he's staying there for a while, right? So you had that going on this year. I mean, you beat Indiana. You beat Michigan, right? You went undefeated. Your only loss was to Ohio State. And yeah, what a crazy year. What a crazy season for Indiana. So good for them. About time we see a new team in the college football playoff. So this is the most interesting bracket here, because not only is Indiana in, right, but you got Notre Dame. And yeah, there's a lot of controversy there too. Oh, they didn't play a championship game. Yeah, because they don't belong in a conference. And I agree with that too. That's kind of BS. That's trash. They should join a conference, and if they're that good, they should compete in the championship game. And if they win or lose, they're going to still get in, right? They won 11 games this year, so they were going to get in nonetheless. But the fact that they're not in the conference after all this time, I mean, college football is changing. It's 2024. Join a damn conference. Like, the Big Ten basically has all Pac-12 teams. I mean, we got Oregon, we got UCLA, USC, Washington. Join a damn conference. Notre Dame, I mean, come on now. It's 2024. Join a damn conference. And then Georgia's on a bye week. Obviously, SEC champions beating Texas. So Indiana and Notre Dame. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. So Indiana, offense, 43.3 points per game. Notre Dame, 39.8 points per game. So two good offenses there. And then obviously this is the first time head coach for Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman, his first playoff appearance as the head coach for Notre Dame. And then Notre Dame averages 224.8 yards in the running game. And then Indiana ranks second in total defense, allowing 244.8 yards per game. So good defense, good running game. Just very similar to the SMU Penn State game. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. Defense, run game. It might be low scoring, but it should be an interesting one. Signetti, as I mentioned, he signed an extension, $8 million a year. It goes through 2029. So yeah, I meant to say $8 million, not 8-year contract. $8 million a year contract. So I apologize about that. But yeah, it goes through 2029, and why not? Best season in Indiana football history. Guy, everywhere he goes, he wins. He came from James Madison, he won there. So yeah, and that contract extension happened about a month ago. So very interesting game here. So this game's actually going to happen Friday, December 20th. So the first game will be next Friday at 8 p.m. on ABC and ESPN. So definitely watch this one. This one's going to be a good one. Indiana and Notre Dame. But my pick in this one, man, you know what? I'm rolling the dice on this one. I like Indiana. I like Indiana. I think they're going to shock the world. They're going to beat the Fighting Irish and move on to face Georgia, and then they might run into some trouble there in the Sugar Bowl. But yeah, I got Indiana winning this one. The first matchup in the college football playoff against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. But yeah, all great games, right? I mean, all deserving. All these teams, in my opinion, obviously the championship, the conference champions are going to get buys, but then all these other teams, I think the committee, the college football playoff committee made the right call. You can say Bama deserved to get in, or Miami, where's Miami at? Hey, dude, this is a 12-team playoff now. It's a little more complicated. You got to think about a lot of things. Significant wins, strength of schedule, playing the conference game or not. Your conference win-loss record, all that stuff, right? Even branding. I mean, and that, a lot of people are arguing about that. Like, oh, Alabama was a big brand name in college football. Yeah, we understand that, but let's be honest, Nick Saban's not there anymore. Nick Saban was a huge name, a huge brand for so many years for Alabama football. I don't know. But I like this, the 12-team playoff. It gives opportunities for teams to compete. Like SMU, did you really think they were ever going to make it in the 4 playoff format from last year? No. Indiana, no, right? Arizona State, Boise State. So it gives other schools, other programs an opportunity to compete in the postseason, an opportunity to fight and compete for a national championship. But 12 teams, I think that's just too much. But I think the college football committee got it right with the teams that they selected. So at least they got that right, in my opinion. But yeah, college football playoff, man, starts next Friday. That Indiana Notre Dame game. Check that one out Friday night, 8 o'clock, ESPN, ABC. Place some bets for that one. And then the rest of the games are next Saturday. Place your bets and watch them. They're going to be awesome. And they're going to be very entertaining to watch. So college football, the playoff, it's set. The bracket's done and over with. You can cry about it. You can complain about it. It don't matter. This is it. Love it or leave it. And with that, we got to hop over to the pros now. So, yeah, we switched it up a little bit today. We talked about college football because it's a college football playoff. Very important now. when we're talking about sports. But yeah, we got to hop over to the NFL now. So the NFL, week 14 was crazy, another crazy week of NFL football. But we got to talk about this Lions and Packers game to open up week 14. Thursday night football, another primetime game for the Detroit Lions. Lions win this one 34-31. They sweep the series this season against the Packers. Jared Goff, excellent in this one, 32 out of 41, 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. So that gives them a lot of confidence going to this game this coming Sunday, 4:25 primetime on CBS against the Buffalo Bills. That's going to be a very tough matchup. That is going to be probably the toughest matchup for the Detroit Lions this year. They have to win that one. And then another key moment or a key story from this game against the Packers last Thursday night was the 4th down conversions. The Lions converted 4 out of the 5 4th down conversions. That's insane. That's crazy. But that's Dan Campbell having the biggest cojones in the NFL, man. He doesn't care. But to earlier, in the third quarter, when you go for it on your own 31-yard line, bro, you can't do that. You just cannot. Kick the ball, play the field position battle. I mean, this is a division game, a rivalry game. They're mad that they got beat, over a month ago at Lambeau Field. You have to kick the ball in that situation. A lot of people didn't agree with it. I was scratching my head. I was just like, what the hell is this guy doing? But then I realized it's Dan Campbell. He'll make up for it. But, in any other situation, they went for it on that 4th down on Detroit's 31-yard line, and then Green Bay scored on that drive. So then our next drive, we scored. But what if we didn't score? We would have been screwed. We would have been in big, deep trouble, right? So Dan Campbell, I guess pick your moments, right? I mean, I get it. He wants his guys. He trusts his guys to get the job done on those 4th downs. I get that, and I respect the hell out of that. But sometimes, dude, you just got to pick your battles. I mean, do we have to remind you what happened in the NFC Championship game last season against the 49ers when you tried to go for it multiple times on 4th down? It didn't work, right? Get it. Still regular season. We got a few more games left, but something to think about. But, hey, 4 out of 5, that's crazy. In a game, that's the Detroit Lions for you. That's Dan Campbell for you. And then the last one set up the Jake Bates game-winning 35-yard field goal. Fourth down, David Montgomery just runs it for about, 12 yards, 12, 15 yards. And then, we waste the time. And then Jake Bates does what he does best, kicks the game-winning field goal. Everyone goes home happy. Let's go, Lions. Go, Lions. You guys are the best. 34-31. That game was awesome. A great way to start off Week 14. And then, as a result of this win against the Packers, we got a playoff berth. Now, we're officially in the playoffs. Second consecutive season going to the playoffs for the Detroit Lions, and this is the first time since the 1993 through the 1995 seasons that we had back-to-back years of going to the playoffs. So, awesome, boys. Thank you. Congratulations. You guys deserve it, especially with all these injuries you guys been dealing with. Unreal. And then, as a result of that win as well, 11 straight, franchise record, 12-1 in the playoffs. You got to love it. Tim Patrick had 2 touchdowns in this game. His first touchdown since 2021. So, a great story there out of Tim Patrick. Hey, dude, I don't know about you guys, but I think he gets underappreciated a lot because, we talk about St. Brown and Laporta, and in the run game, you got Monty, Montgomery, you got Gibbs, Sonic and Knuckles, Jared Goff, guys that get highlighted a lot. But, dude, Tim Patrick is the unsung hero of this offense. He is reliable. On a 3rd down, throw it to him. On a 2nd and long, throw it to him. He'll catch the ball. He's a great player. I like Tim Patrick. I don't know about you guys, but he is an unsung hero for the Detroit Lions team and the offense as well. And then, as I mentioned, that 4th down in the third quarter at Detroit's 31-yard line, you can't go for it on 4th down. Kick the ball off, play the field position battle, and go from there. And then another injury, unfortunately, from this game. Aleem McNeil left the game with a head injury. And then no Taylor Decker, no DJ Reader, no Josh Pascal. I think a handful of guys are coming back. I think Taylor Decker is one of them. DJ Reader, I do believe, is coming back. Aleem McNeil is coming back for this game this Sunday against the Bills. So that helps us out a lot. But yeah, what a great way to start off Week 14. Detroit Lions. I mean, you gotta love it, right? I say this every week. Being a Lions fan now, we love what we do. We're proud to be Lions fans after so many years of being disappointed by this team. They're giving us hope. They're making us happy. You see that crowd on Thursday night? That's a Thursday night football game. A Thursday night. A lot of people got to go to work Friday. Dude, it was filled to the gills. I mean, I didn't see one empty seat. I mean, they were showing the camera around. I didn't see one empty seat at Ford Field last Thursday against the Packers. Not one. So, different times here in the Motor City, and we love it. You just got to keep going. Like I said, you got the Lions and the Bills. These guys, the Bills, tough matchup. They won 7 straight going into that Rams game, but then they lost to the Rams. Great matchup, though. Josh Allen had 6 total touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. I think that was the first time or second time ever that's ever happened in the NFL. So Josh Allen's on a mission, right? And another thing, kind of going to the preview of the Lions-Bills game, he's another mobile quarterback. The Detroit Lions, they struggle against mobile quarterbacks. We've seen it this year. We've seen it in years past. And then Josh Allen, too. He's a big guy. He's a big athletic guy. He's not easy to take down, So we have to contain him, try our absolute best. I know we're absolutely depleted on defense, rather, losing a lot of guys, but, we got to hold our own, man. It's going to be a tough matchup. It's going to be a tough matchup. So, little preview of the Bills and the Lions game there, but I'll go into that in a few more minutes. I want to talk more about Week 14. So Week 14, so the Jaguars win this one, 10-6 against the division rival, the Titans. Titans are horrible. And then Dolphins, another division matchup, 32-26 against the Jets. Jets are god-awful. Devontae Adams, I feel bad for that guy. Ever since he's been traded, they've lost games, and, it's a bad situation there. And then, with that, Jets lost in overtime against the Dolphins. So, good game there. And then the Vikings dominated the Falcons. Kirk Cousins had a handful of interceptions. He had 3 in this one. And then Sam Darnold, 5 touchdowns in this one. 347 yards. Unbelievable. They win this one at home, 42-21. That's another team we got to worry about. Vikings are no joke. I said the Eagles are the biggest threat, and I still believe that. But watch out for the Vikings, man. They're making some noise. And then the Saints beat the Giants. Giants haven't won a single game. We're going to Week 15 now. They haven't won a single game at home. They're 0-7 at home. God-awful. Get them out of here. Saints win on the road 14-11. And then the Eagles surviving the Carolina Panthers. So the Carolina Panthers are horrible, right? But it seems like the past few weeks, they're fighting. They're still playing. They're not quitting. Bryce Young's playing some decent football. Not great, not horrible, but decent football. I mean, they still lose, right? But, I mean, it was close there for a minute against the Eagles. Saquon Barkley had 20 carries for 124 yards, 0 touchdowns. So, hey, if you're the Panthers, bravo. You didn't give up a rushing touchdown against the leading rusher in the NFL. Good for you. But Eagles still win this one, 22-16. You had that going on. And then you had the Steelers winning against the Browns, 27-14 at home, division matchup. Steelers are looking pretty good in the AFC. And then the Buccaneers winning at home 28-13 against the Raiders. Raiders are god-awful. Baker Mayfield, man, 295 yards, 3 touchdowns. Guys playing some great football there. Seahawks winning against the Cardinals. Division matchup there. The NFC West wide open right now. 30-18. Seahawks win on the road. And then Buffalo Bills and Rams, like I mentioned, definitely the best game of the week for Week 14. 44-42. The Rams win this one at home. Huge win for them. And then the Bills, going to that game, like I mentioned, they won 7 straight, and then you lose to the Rams. Prime time sucks. But on the flip side, as I mentioned as well, Josh Allen, 6 total touchdowns, 3 passing, 3 rushing. Guy's an absolute monster. The guy is, he's unbelievable. Unbelievable. But he still loses. That's kind of crappy too. So you had that. 49ers win at home 38-13 against the Bears. The Bears are 0-6 on the road. They haven't won a road game after 15 weeks. God awful, just like the Giants. unable to win at home. God awful. Get them out of here. 49ers win. A big win for them at home. And then Sunday Night Football, the Chiefs, the lucky Chiefs, once again beat the Chargers. Another division rival game here. 7-0 at home for the Chiefs. They're 12-1, man. Hey, it is what it is. And then Monday Night Football, the Bengals and the Cowboys. This one, the Cowboys, man. I mean, they blocked the punt, right? But then the Dallas Cowboys, they touched the ball, and then they don't recover it, and then it's recovered by the Bengals. And then they end up winning the game. Like, how idiotic do you have to be? How much of a bonehead do you have to be to do that in that situation? I mean, that's the Cowboys season right there. Just stupid mistakes, unable to finish, close out games, making stupid mental errors, unreal. You block the punt, you stay away from it. Poison. Even I know that from my years of playing football. But, yeah, just a boneheaded mistake by the Cowboys, and it cost them. They lost at home. They're 1-6 at home, man. Horrible way to lose. But that in summary is the Dallas Cowboys season. They're god awful. Joe Burrow, 369 yards. He threw it 44 times, 33 for 44, 369 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then Jamar Chase, if you had this guy in your fantasy league, you're probably a happy camper. 14 receptions, 177 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. So, interesting game there for 2 mediocre teams. But that's week 14. We got to hop into week 15 real quick. The Bride's got to make his picks. And then I got a special announcement towards the end of this episode of Guys Time with the Brides. We'll get into that in a few minutes. But yeah, week 15 is here. So we're almost playoff time. A few more weeks. And then we're to the playoffs, baby. So Thursday Night Football, division matchup. You got the Rams and the 49ers. So Rams just won a big game at home. So did the 49ers. This is a division matchup. Rams are 7-6. 49ers are 6-7. They've been battling injuries all year around. But the Rams, though, they're healthy now. Early in the season, they lost Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. And you had an offensive lineman hurt. You had a couple defensive guys hurt. But they're all back now. I got the Rams in this one. I like the Rams winning this one against the 49ers because, without Christian McCaffrey, he's done for the year. Jordan Mason, he's on IR, so your running game is shot. You really don't have a running game. You got to rely on Deebo Samuel. Jawan Jennings has been kind of a hero these past few weeks. George Kittle, you got to get him going. I just think that's going to be too much for the 49ers. Brock Purdy's been hurt. But I like the Rams in this one for tomorrow's Thursday Night Football matchup to open up Week 15. I got the Rams in that one. So now the Lions and the Bills. Mentioned briefly a couple minutes ago in this game. So yeah, 4:25 CBS prime time. The Lions playing at home, so that helps us out. That helps us out a lot because Buffalo this time of year, there's probably like 10 feet of snow and probably negative 20 degrees out there in Buffalo. So it helps us. We play inside. So the Bills are 10-2. Like I said, they won 7 straight. Obviously before they lost to the Rams last week. So they were on a hot streak. Like I said, I still think they're a threat. This is gonna be this is gonna be the biggest game for the Lions this year. The most challenging game this year for the Detroit Lions. So according to Sports Illustrated, Lions open up as 3-point favorites. They won 11 straight since losing to the Buccaneers week 2. Great matchup. I like this matchup. Bills are going to be tough. Josh Allen, if we contain him, we'll be all right. We can't have that guy running all around, dude. We just cannot. So this game, Lions, got some guys coming back from injury. I think that Taylor Decker comes back. That's huge for our offensive line. We got one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, if not the best offensive line. With him, Sewell, all those guys. I like the Detroit Lions in this one. I think they keep rolling, man. You got a few more games left. Finish off strong. Try to get that number 1 seed. Playing great at home. Past couple games, though, against the Bears and the Packers, a little shaky there. Got a little interesting there those past 2 games. We need a for sure clear-cut win against the Bills this Sunday. I know it's going to be tough, but we need to beat these guys. So I got the Lions rather winning this one against the Buffalo Bills. That's gonna be a good one. Like I said, I think that's gonna be the best game this week. It's gonna be the toughest game for the Detroit Lions. Lions win this one. That's my pick. Go Lions. Take care of business. So on top of that too, Lions, they covered the spread 9 times this year. So they're 9-3-1 in that span. So and then they're 8-3-1 record, playing at least as a 2.5-point favorite. And then they're 6-1 at home in at home contests, right? And then they're 4-2-1 record against the spread. So not bad when they're the favorites, right? The Detroit Lions. So I like that too. And then the Buffalo Bills, they've covered the spread 8 times this year. And then they're 4-3 on the road against the spread. So that helps us out a little bit. And then they're 4-3 overall in that span. And Allen is 2-0 career against the Lions. So this guy needs to lose. But yeah, I still got the Lions despite those statistics, the betting statistics rather. I like the Lions at home. They're going to take care of business against the Buffalo Bills. So you got that. You got the Chiefs and the Browns. The Chiefs are going to probably find a way to win. They probably win by 1 point or 2 points. So I'm taking the Chiefs on the road. They're 5-1 on the road this year. Browns are 2-4 at home. They're struggling a little bit. But I got the Chiefs winning that one. You got the Bengals and the Titans. I like the Bengals because the Titans are god-awful. 1-5 at home. That is not good. Bengals win that one, especially coming off a huge Monday Night Football win on the road against the Dallas Cowboys. Commanders and Saints. Commanders coming off a bye week. They're on the road. I like the Commanders in this one. I like the Commanders. I like what Jay Daniels has done this year as a rookie quarterback, possibly rookie of the year. But yeah, they win this one against the Saints. And then you got the Ravens and the Giants. Giants playing at home. Again, haven't won a game at home. Ravens coming off a bye week. I got the Ravens in this one. I think Derrick Henry has a big game against that horrible Giants defense. Cowboys and Panthers. I got the Panthers in this one. I think the Panthers, despite having a 3-10 record, they shown signs of life the past few weeks, even though they've lost games and whatnot. But I like them at home. I think they're going to give the Cowboys a tough time Sunday. So you got that. Jets and Jaguars. These two teams are god-awful, both 3-10. I'll take the Jaguars at home because I really just don't trust the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. The guy needs to go. All right, he's not the Aaron Rodgers from 10 years ago when he was, destroying everybody as a Green Bay Packer. Guy needs to go. I got the Jaguars winning that one. Dolphins and Texans. I like the Texans in this one at home. I think they play really well in this one against the Dolphins. It's going to be a good game, though. But I got the Texans there. You got the Colts and the Broncos. I like the Broncos. Defense wins. They have a good defense. 4-2 at home. I like the Broncos beating the Colts there. Steelers and Eagles. I just checked this. I just saw this on social media, the NFL on Fox Instagram page. The Steelers haven't won in Philadelphia since 1965. I mean, dude, almost 60 years ago. Last time Pittsburgh won in Philadelphia. I like the Eagles in this one at home. Eagles, it's the Battle of Pennsylvania. Who's better, Pittsburgh or Philadelphia? In this situation, the Eagles are going to win this one. I got Philly beating the Steelers. That's going to be a really good one, too. Check that one out. The Battle of Pennsylvania is here. But Eagles, very dangerous team right now. The most dangerous team. I said it last week. I'll say it again. Nothing's changed. The Eagles are the most dangerous team in the NFL. Not just the NFC, the NFL. They are playing some really good football right now. Patriots, Cardinals. Patriots are horrible. Cardinals bounce back from that loss against the Seahawks. They're playing at home. Cardinals need this one because they've lost 2 straight. You had an opportunity to beat the Vikings a couple weeks ago. You blew that game. You had the lead in that game. You blew it. And then you lost to a division rival in the Seahawks. They're due for a win. I got the Cardinals winning this one against the Patriots. And then you got the Buccaneers and Chargers. I like the Chargers at home. Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield's playing some good football. But I think Chargers, they're going to bounce back from that Sunday Night Football loss against the Chiefs. They're playing at home. It helps them out. I got the Chargers winning there. And then Sunday Night Football, rather. You got the Packers and the Seahawks. classic matchup. Every time these two play each other, it's highly entertaining. Packers lost, to the Lions, obviously, sort of due for a win. You got Seahawks playing at home, 3-4 record. They just got done being the division rival, as I mentioned, the Cardinals. They're playing at home, 12th man, no joke. I am going to go with the Seahawks. I like the home team in this one, but that's going to be an interesting matchup there, too. And then you got two, not one, but two Monday Night Football games. You got the Bears and the Vikings. Vikings are going to win that one because the Bears are god-awful. Division matchup there, but the Vikings are the second most dangerous team, right behind the Philadelphia Eagles. You got to watch out for both of those if you're a Lions fan, right? And then the other game is the Falcons and the Raiders. I don't even know why they put this game on. This game should have just been, horrible teams, 6-7 Falcons, 2-11 Raiders. Good God almighty. This team sucks. They're both awful, but the Raiders are really bad. They're playing at home. I got the Falcons winning this one because the Raiders, forget about it, dude. Forget about it. So that is Week 15. Those are my Week 15 picks for the NFL. So watch, play some bets, fantasy football. It's going to be a great time. We're almost to playoffs, guys. I can't wait. The Lions, back-to-back years in the playoffs. That's so exciting to see. But they just got to finish strong. Take care of business, beat those Buffalo Bills, and go Lions, baby. And with that, I have a special announcement. Before we sign off on this episode, Guys Time the Prize today, I just want to make a shout-out to Kahmel Makled. He's one of my greatest friends. I met him last December. Most of you know I've been doing boxing, to train in boxing for over a year now at New Way Training Center. Great people, great facility, just great organization, great place overall. And out of New Way Training Center, Kahmel Makled, he's making his pro debut tomorrow. Very exciting news, man. I'm happy for this kid. He deserves it. He's worked his ass off. He's a great fighter. I've seen him compete a handful of times in his amateur career. Saw him compete at the Golden Gloves earlier this year, the Metro Detroit Golden Gloves tournament earlier this year, back in April, and he was dominant, right? Two-time Metro Detroit Golden Gloves champ, making his pro debut tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, fights start, and it's at the Dort Financial Center in Flint, Michigan. If you don't have your tickets yet, check it out. Go on Instagram, message New Way Training Center or message Kahmel Makled. You can still get tickets now, but get them fast, though, before he runs out. Get them fast. Doors open at 5:30. And then the fights start at 6. He's going to be one of the earlier fights, but his pro debut, as I mentioned, a 2-time Metro Detroit Golden Gloves champ. This guy is awesome, a great boxer, even better human being, making his pro debut. It's going to be a fun time. So, Kahmel, congratulations, good luck, and give him hell, man. Give him hell. I know you're going to do a great job, buddy. You deserve this moment. So, I just want a special shout-out to my man, Kahmel Makled. That kid's going places. He's going to make some noise tomorrow night in his pro debut for boxing. And, yeah, God bless him, man. So, Kahmel, you already know what to do, brother. Give him hell. Take care of business. So, I just wanted to end this episode by saying that. Special shout out to him. He deserves it. And with that being said, we're done. Guys, Time to Prize today, we're done. So, thank you for joining me. Check this episode out. Football, boxing, college football, you already know. YouTube page, you guys already know. At Guys Time the Prize, check it out. Audio version, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast, just type in at Guys Time the Prize. The newest episode will be available, and you guys will have that at your disposal within the next few hours. Hopefully, because the past few times I tried to upload the video version on my YouTube page, it's taken a long time. So hopefully we don't run into those issues this time, but we'll see what happens. You gotta love technology, right? And with that, I'm out. So thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. And go Lions and go Kahmel. Give them hell, buddy. All right, peace out, guys.